I'm Ariana Grande.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Erivo.
And you're listening to the Broadway Podcast Network.
Visit bpn.fm to discover more.
There's a cat over here. There's a cat over there. And the wrong one died. And the wrong one died.
Welcome to The Wrong Cat Died, the podcast breakdown of the catastrophe. I'm your host, Mike Abrams, and today we have multiple guests. It was a little while ago, I was on social media, and I saw a post about a production of Cats that said it was going to have a Cornish twist, and I commented asking what that meant. And today we're going to get answers. So they are currently in rehearsals for a young actors edition of Cats at the Boom Theatre in Cornwall. And with parents' permission, we have a few members of the cast and a few people from the creative team. So welcome Faith, Maddie, Kirsten, Marc. Thank you all for joining me. I'm excited to have you all here.
Hi there.
Very, very excited because a lot of times I get a lot of social media for every version of Cats, like young kids doing it and all this stuff. It all gets sent to me. And so when I saw Cornish twist, I've never been to Cornwall. And I was like, what does that mean? And I kind of just sent the comment out there into the ether and didn't expect anything to come back from it, or maybe just like a quick reply. But here we are. We're going to get full answers to what that means. I'm excited, but let's start. I got to start at the beginning. So for all four of you, when was your introduction to Cats? First time you saw it, first time you learned about it?
Who's going in order?
Wait, let Faith go. Faith's got an answer.
For me, I've got so when I was a few years back, I had a dance teacher who told me this is my first ever interaction with anything about Cats. I didn't really know much about it until my dance teacher went to go and see it. Her name was Becky. And she was telling me about a pre-show, because we're doing a pre-show in our version of the show. And she was telling me that she was sat in the audience with a box of popcorn and that Victoria climbs on the back of her chair, takes out a handful of her popcorn and just eats it. Just in the middle of the audience. And yeah, I don't know, that was my first ever experience of Cats. I never actually properly watched it. Probably until about a year ago.
For me, the music came first. So sort of coming from the top of the Pops era and stuff, I was kind of back when it was actually launched. Andrew Lloyd Webber was a bit of a thing, and he did Phantom and such like. But so Memory was the big number that was played on the radio all the time. And obviously you always, when you were young, you always listened to Radio 2 in the car with your parents. So the music came first for me. The first production I actually saw was not that long ago, and it was actually one with Matty in it. Kids Were Us, that was about 5 years ago.
I was 8.
Yeah. And it was the full version, I think they did, and they had an amazing choreographer from Scotland, I think, come down to do it. I'm sure Matty will tell you more about that. But those are my sort of main memories of Cats.
Matty, you go.
Okay. I was obviously in Cats. I was Quaxo when I was 8. So that must have been about 9 years ago, because I'm turning 18 this year. So it must have been 10 years. I was Quaxo. We had a choreographer come down from Scotland who's a lead. I don't remember his last name. He's brilliant. He was in Les Mis. And
you must have done it twice then.
No, I was only in one production,
because Lynn Bustard did it when it was at Kids Are Us. Do you remember?
They co-choreographed.
Wow,
because he was the director, but he just choreographed the show, and Lynn just came down. And I was Quaxo, and it was a great experience. But we did it full on Cats, wigs, face paint, cat suits, and I was the youngest one. The cat. Real. Anyway, that's my first experience with Cats.
And so obviously everything Matthew just talked about being sort of 8 years ago, and that makes me feel very old right now. So my first experience of Cats was in the West End production in the 90s. And it was one of the first professional shows I went to. We did a myself and my wife did Andrew Lloyd Webber sort of weekends. We did Starlight Express, and we also did Cat. So I was originally went to I think it was Durham Lane Theatre, and experienced the. I'm going to say experience because it was an experience as as explained, the cat kind of crawled over us and kind of was coming out of the staging and set in different aspects. So yeah, that was my experience. And then so just kind of fell in love with it from then, really. And I'm hoping to bring some inspirations into this show from that production in the 90s. So yeah.
Oh, I love it. So when you're like, obviously this is, I've read a lot about the site and kind of looked at everything, the Boom Theater and everything that you're doing, like a lot of productions, a lot of very cool stuff. I think you do about a little over a weekend worth of these shows for these young adult productions. How did you all decide and land on Cats? Like, Cats is being done kind of everywhere right now. There's a lot of versions, but it's definitely a very different choice. Like, it is a lot happening in this show. And so I'm curious how you landed on it, and then what as performers, like how you feel about it, like as a choice.
I would say where I was coming from is that we've been established as sort of for 3 or 4 years now, or 3 years. We had our kind of graduating kind of company. They'd really developed with us. And I knew that they were very capable of a fantastic kind of dance-led show. We did look at a chorus line as well. So it was like Cats or a chorus line, Cats or a chorus line.
Same story. It's the same story. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And in the end, we just decided that single set, we could do something amazing with it. I just sort of threw in, how about Marc? How do you feel about a Cornish angle to it? Sent him through some kind of inspiration kind of costumes, and thankfully he was open to it.
So I've myself and my wife Jane have been involved with Boom since conception, since the beginning. Our daughter is also in the company, so that's sort of my link. What did they say? Friends with tech skills, I think, is one of the things, and that's how we got involved with Boom. But Cats came not as a shock, let's say, but it was supposed to be kind of a smaller base conception, basically working with it, but it's just grown and it's been fantastic in its development, and the ideas have been bouncing around. So I don't want to give too much away, but we've taken the junkyard aesthetic and made that more of a derelict harbour. So actually the concept's changing from that sort of New York junkyard kind of waste, garbage and things like that, and put it into one of the aspects is changing it to a harbour, and we've got some derelict boats and buildings and sort of like fishing equipment and stuff that the kids can play around with and use as props. So it's the conception from the idea of let's do Cats has then sort of developed into sort of making it more of a Cornish based, because I know that there are multiple versions of it out and around at the minute, with the Jellicle Ball in New York, and then the new tour version of Cats coming to the UK, and the Regent's Park version. So there's a lot of aesthetic, and I think bringing the Cornish element to it just gives us that little bit of locality and making it special for Boom and the guys getting involved as well.
I was also quite inspired by the Kilworth House production, which was based in London in a London underground station in the wartime period, and I just felt that changing the situation, the story is the same, but the situation and the different characters and how that makes you feel differs.
Yeah, it's happening a lot right now, which is I love, because the Jellicle Ball is very like full reimagining, like it's very different. But there's been a lot of productions in the US, like there was Cowboy Cats in Texas. That was, again, still Cats, but they had a few tweaks and some twang there to it. And then there was the Coaster Cats, which was in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which is right near Hershey's like amusement park, and they did it as an amusement park. And so there's been a lot of that, which I think is really cool, because the best part to me of Cats is that it's a pretty open-ended world with a through line, and so it allows you to kind of play with it without changing too much. But you can give spoilers, because it's going to come out after, so cool. you can drop all the stuff. So you can drop all the spoilers here, because this will be published after the show is done.
Awesome.
I do want to ask a little bit though about that aspect of being able to kind of like getting into the story, because this is a young adult teen version. there's a lot to the story that is not young adult, teen friendly. That's always been like a fascination to me because it is a very kids friendly show, like, because you can ignore that. But how much of the plot do you get into when you're doing this versus you're going to do 2.5 hours of dance and choreography and all this other stuff that you got to prep them for? Do you do the story, or like what level of depth do you do in the story?
So I think from my perspective, sorry, guys, well, I'll let you kind of chat and give your guys' perspective in a second. But the aspects of some of the characters in there, for example, the macavity, the meter aspects, and some of the storylines that pull through, I do have quite sort of adult themes. And I think from my perspective, I tried to gain an understanding of what the kids' understanding of the characters were, and I've kind of opened it up to the guys, and I'm hoping both Maddie and Faith sort of agree with this. They might not, that's fine, but I've given them sort of free rein to bring their own takes on their characters. Guys, jump in. I don't want to talk for you, but yeah, give us your thought.
That's going to be my question is what are you all adding? Like, what do you...
Would it be useful for me to talk a little bit about the tribes that we came at from a concept? Yeah, so we felt that for me, I felt like coming from Cornwall, we have a rich heritage of folklore and legend. We've got some really amazing industry down here, and we've got moors and like mythology and things going on. So, and then of course there's pirates and wreckers. So we have created sort of 3 tribes within our storylines and our cast. So the first one is villager cats that are based around the Cornish harbour and the village. So they are drawing their characters from the kind of cats that you might find in the village. So you might find one in the schoolhouse. So Jelly Orem, for example, kind of has quite a teacher kind of approach to things. You've got, I'll let Matty talk about Bombalonzo. And then you've got Gus, who's retired to the village. You've got then the villager cats, which are some of the other less identifiable cats. We've got 3 little kittens, who are some of our younger cast members. And then we have mystical cats, who we've taken the inspiration from some of the things that you would find in the moors and the legends. So you might find granite. We have lots of granite in Cornwall. We have lots of gorse, which is like a succulent yellow plant, lots of moss. And so we've got our mystical cats that live out on the moors or are magical in some way. And Mr. Mistopheles, for example, is a Merlin type figure that sits within that tribe. And then we've got our pirates and wreckers, who are kind of outsiders. So Macavity is ultimately the wrecker who destroys everything and anything around him. And then Alonzo is one of our pirate cats for this production. So I'm sure that Faith can tell you a little bit more about how she's delivering Alonzo through a pirate character.
So Maddie and Faith, I'd love to hear from you of like how you're developing your character and like what type of research you're doing and how you're talking to the other castmates to figure this out.
Do you want to go first? Yeah.
You go for it.
After we got our roles, Marc had put out a post that's like it's like this exercise called like Utahagen, I think it's called. I always think I'm talking about the ice cream when I say that. And it's like the questions. I get it up, but it's on my iPad, which I'm on. And it's like, who is your character? Where are they? How old are they? And that really helped. Marc's been really helpful in that. And we also did like a what 3 words. So it's like 3 words that describe your cat. That's been really helpful. Yeah, I mean, obviously Bombalonzo in the musical is like, not that she's not PG, but she's quite out there. she's quite flirty and like in your face. So I guess we've kind of made that more like she's just kind of the life of the party. Like she just
definitely is. With one it's one thing you really should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's kind of like, I think it's Demeter and her and Jelly Lorem and like Munkerstrap, who are they're all kind of villagey cats, and they're all like kind of storytellers, and they're just there to like help guide the story, kind of, if that makes sense. But Marc's been really helpful.
I do try, but it's kind of bringing out that sort of slightly more adventurous side in Bombalina, more so than Demeter, her kind of equal part, really. Demeter's definitely kind of asked the guys to sort of channel that sort of more like, I need to behave and be proper, but then Bombalina, hopefully, and Mac is doing a fantastic job at pushing those boundaries a little bit more with Macavity and with Rum Tum, and just basically pushing those boundaries a little bit. Faith, how about you?
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, I feel like with Alonzo, I feel like in the original Cats, he's quite like, he's like protective, isn't he? He's like almost kind of like a leader sort of vibe, but I've sort of taken him in like a bit more of a mischievous direction, like you know, like in the scene just before Macavity comes out, I'm like just sort of giving it like, oh, I'm actually kind of quite interested in what Macavity's doing and stuff, because obviously I am part of the like pirate tribe that they've put together, so I'm a little bit more like cunning and different almost. And like in the opening number, Genical Songs for Genical Cats, I feel like I'm sort of like sorry, I'm just thinking of how to put this. It's like in the opening number, I'm sort of like running around quite a lot. I do a bit of everything everywhere. So I sort of have just taken Alonzo in the more direction of he's cheeky rather than he's like second in command to Munkerstrap, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay. How does Grisabella fit in these tribes? Is she in one, or is she that's still an outsider?
Well, she's kind of I'll introduce it and then Marc can go into detail. She's on the edge of the mystical tribes because she's kind of coming in from sort of from a distance. I'll pass over to Marc now.
So with the different tribes, we're trying to work definitely a nautical or seafaring folk versus a land-based folk, and from the aesthetic that we're kind of bringing in, we're looking at sort of Deuteronomy is sort of from the sea, as such as from the ocean. So he's bringing that element to it, and Grisabella, we're kind of basing her more on the sort of folklore aesthetic of being from the land. What I've asked the guys to do, Tom and Isabel, is sort of imagine that they were effectively the previously the leaders of the whole Jellicle world. Within their relationship, so they're well known to each other and friends and comrades as such, as to the heads of the two aspects of the tribe. And I've asked those guys to sort of work on that dynamic between them and their relationship and commitment to each other. But then, for whatever reason, and I haven't specified a reason, that sort of Isabel is playing Grisabella has sort of fallen from her position of authority effectively, and to bring her back into the fold as part of their relationship building through the show, and their numbers through sort of Grisabella's entrance into what then is the phenomenal sort of music from memory, and that then acceptance. And so basically there's an empathy that I've asked Tom to bring into his performance to try and knowing the person who Grisabella was back in when they were leaders of the tribes, that actually then he can open up that opportunity for her to try and come back to a sense of dignity and respect from the rest of the team. So that's kind of where we've come from. So long-winded way, but the two leaders of both tribes working together, and Grisabella coming back into the fold throughout the team.
We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back for more of The Wrong Cat Died.
I want to come back to the tribes piece, so I have a question about that. But I want to ask, while we're on the like relationships and kind of concepts for Maddie and Faith, how much have you chatted with your castmates on like trying to piece together either things that are there's not a lot stated, so it's like there's obviously some relationships that are a little bit clearer of like there's something going on, whether you want to play it as sisters or lovers or whatever. But there's a lot that are not, just depending on where you're staged and who you're friends with, off stage type of stuff happening. How much have you all discussed this as you're in this kind of rehearsal process to figure out some of those things? And what are you maybe adding that aren't traditional Cats relationships or thoughts or friendships?
I mean, me and Matty have like been speaking about this a lot. Obviously, she's Bombalonzo and I'm Alonzo. And I don't know if it's just that we're best friends outside of the show as well. But we've sort of come up with this thing called Bombalonzo.
Okay.
Which is like almost like not that we're like, in love or anything, but we are like quite close in the show. Like we spend quite a lot of time together on stage. Yeah. But otherwise, I mean, like Alonzo, I just sort of base it around who I'm spending the most time with on stage. So like I spend quite a lot of time with Monkstrap. So I almost have it in my head that me and him are like best friends in the Jellicle world and stuff. So yeah, that's me.
I like Bombalonzo. That's good.
That's gonna stick. That's good. Definitely.
I think we actually saw it on. I think we saw it on TikTok at one point, and I sent it to Matty, and I was like, "This is brilliant."
All of our contact information for each other is now Bombalonzo.
We've got another lovely relationship, I think, between sort of the mother cat who's taken charge of the three little kittens. So she's a cast member called Isabel, and she has named herself Mauser, which is quite a Cornish kind of name. And she basically is in charge and looking after the kittens all the time and making sure they don't get into trouble. So that's super cute, that little relationship, how that's evolved.
So Mauser is a well-known Cornish cat. So there's a story theme of the Mauser cat, which is a place down in Cornwall, and Mauser is the name for that cat. So yeah, Isabel's kind of taken that on board and made that a real nice little character as the mother of her 3 or 4 little kittens that she has, keeping them in check and stuff. So yeah, that's great.
Obviously also me and Demeter, which is helpful because me and Macy have been best friends since we were 8. Like genuinely, I've grown up with that girl. And when we got cast as Demeter and Bombalonzo, we were on call to each other and we were screaming at the top of our lungs. We were like, oh my God. And we've always wanted to be opposite each other. So obviously that dynamic is fully there. Like we are best friends in real life just as much as we are on stage.
So is it friends or sisters?
Friends. I don't think I don't think they're sisters.
It's the number one example I use when people talk about this, because I'll never forget, I made a joke about them being lovers and on social media. And I had so many, it's the most responses I've had to any meme I've made in terms of like just complete anger or finally somebody said it. And I put a poll up and I said, are they best friends, lovers, or sisters? And even within different former cast members, I had them responding to me and then like messaging me being like, this is absolutely the way it is. And I'd be like, well, I just talked to a different Bombalonzo who told me the opposite. Yes. So I kind of like, it's the example for me of like, this is what I love about the show is you have that freedom because the relationship's kind of the same, whether you just play it a little bit more flirty or a little bit more friendly or a little bit more like family based. But it doesn't change much, and so that's what's kind of cool about this show is it gives you all those.
I think that's one of the beauties of how this has been how the show's written and formulated. Because I mean, it's about individual cats. It's about individual characters, and flipping back to sort of the old Possums book, the rhymes and stuff, and that poetry that was written by T.S. Eliot. It's about individual characters. And the performers in it, and that's something I wanted the kids to really take hold of, is this is your version of the show. Nobody else is going to do your Bombalonzo, your Alonzo, your Monkstrap. It's completely and utterly open to the performers to interpret. And I hope I brought that through with the guidance and stuff I've been giving to the cast. And yeah, I think that's one of the beauties about this show, that it can be as diverse and as quirky as you want it to be. So that's great.
Yeah, one of the things I'm quite enjoying at the moment, one of my favourite costumes is the underrated Beetle Tattoo. So obviously in the main productions, there's nothing to write home about with the costumes generally. So we've gone full on. There's a tradition in Cornwall. We're similar to other Celtic nations. So you've got Scotland, Wales, Ireland. So we have a Cornish tartan. So, well, we've got 3 Cornish tartans, actually. And obviously with the kind of, there's quite a big brass band and military kind of influence down in Cornwall as well. So we've got our Beetle Tattoo is, it's basically young people, young beetles in tartan kilts and little tartan bows, and so we've gone full on tartan for that. And also in terms of Munko strap, we've gone with the St. Piran's tartan for him as being the main authority within the village. So we've got various kind of costume references for that from the village. So we love, I'm particularly fond of all the Cornish tartan that I can scatter throughout the production.
I love how you've added these elements that are going to make it feel local, without, again, changing a ton to still make it cats. Yeah. But I want to ask, and I want to ask all of you, but especially Faith and Maddie, I'm curious for you too. This is it's a unique show if you're not familiar with it and you've never seen it, and you're doing a handful of performances. So you're going to have friends and family, you're going to have support from people that maybe aren't theater people or cats people. What prep are you giving to them, or how are you preparing them for what they're going to see? Are you telling them anything? Are they going in blind? What is going to be your pitch to, hey, when you come see this, and by the way, this is what it's going to be?
I'm just sort of telling, I've told my parents, just sort of prepare yourself for a bit of anything. You might think it's a bit weird, but I don't know, because I feel like you do have to be quite tasteful within theatre to fully understand the concept of cats and what's going on throughout the show. So not everyone is going to really understand things like the Heaviside Lair. So I just, I told my parents, just be prepared to use your imagination through the show a little bit and sort of try yourself to understand it, because it's not exactly sometimes the whole story is fully explained and told. The naming of cats, it's a really confusing song, really, isn't it? So
they're all a little bit confusing. I think they're all a bit what now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going to see it for the first time. I didn't have a Scooby-Doo what was going on. I just really enjoyed it because the dance was great, the music was great. And then you just started to piece it together as you became a bit of a fan of the music and dance. Then you started to dig a little bit more deeply into why it's a fun show. And it's not so dissimilar to things like Six these days, is it? Where it's kind of them talking about their characters and doing a song about their characters. It's just one way of doing a musical that is slightly different to the storytelling ones that have a plot to them. There's very limited plot to Cats, and it is all about the characters, and that's why it's a great show for the class to really dig deep and enjoy.
Well, my mother is a big fan of Cats. I can't lie to you. She walked out of the 2019 movie and went, "That was quite good."
Are we allowed to mention the movie? Is the movie a thing we can talk about?
We can if we want to get into it. I have hot takes on that.
I don't know if we've got enough time. Really don't know if we have enough time.
Yeah.
Yeah, she walked out. Because I've been in Cats before that, and my whole family loves Cats. I don't know how, but they were like, "I love it. It's it's Les Mis and Cats. Those are her favorites." And we walked out of the 2019 movie, and she was like, "Taylor Swift's amazing. That's a great casting." And then we watched it recently, and she goes, "What was I thinking? That was really bad." But my family loves Cats, and my friends, I've had to be like, "It's a bit wacky, but you'll love it." Just
I talked about this recently with somebody on this show. I don't even know if it's come out yet or not because they kind of blur. But I I loved, like, I had the same reaction when I first saw it. I was like, what am I watching? I didn't know anything. I barely knew memory. Like, I didn't know any of the plot lines, and I was not ready. I just moved to New York. I was not ready for that experience. And then I kind of, like, you kind of get it. But now my favorite thing to do is sit in these, like, regional theaters or theaters that aren't on Broadway, and then listen to people around me at intermission trying to piece together what's happening, and then trying to fill in the blanks. Because I had this conversation with a very big Cats fan not long ago about how this plot's actually so clearly stated in the beginning about, like, you're coming together once a year to make the Jellicle choice. Here's this, here's our leader, here's all, like, it's actually as clearly stated as you can get in the first, like, 15 minutes. But then it's just so wildly wacky after that you're kind of trying to figure out why Grisabella's peeking in and what's going on and all the other stuff and all the different relationships. But it doesn't really matter because it's a dance show and great music, and it's just amazing to watch. But I do kind of feel like for teen versions that I saw as an adult later on, for the first time, having seen plenty of theater before in my life, I can't imagine someone who's not a theater person or used to the theater walking into having this being one of their first experiences. Because it is a lot going on, especially if you're doing the pre-show. Like, before you even start, you've got a cat, crawling around you and messing with you a little bit. Like, that's a lot to walk into.
It is indeed.
Yeah.
I think.
Are you going to mess with friends? Do you have people picked out that you're ready to go?
Okay. Those guys might have. It's not been sort of directed yet, but that's where we're heading into rehearsals now. But I think one of the cool things, I think you touched on a few things, that it's a hugely sort of recognizable song musically, and people do understand, especially if you're from the theatre world, but also sort of from a choreographically as well. We're working with a local choreographer who's professional, and he's also been cast in Cats previously. So Ben Diat, he's working really hard to actually make this different, and he's bringing his own interpretations from his experience performing in Cats to actually direct his movement choices and things like that, and the aesthetic that we're trying to bring is like the equinox of the Jellicle moon, and using some of the movements and some of the pictures that we're creating choreographically are to do with, like, the tide coming in and being pulled by the moon, and the guys have got some fantastic we're very lucky that we have a strong sort of ensemble and company that are all strong dancers. So he can really get creative with that and create some fantastic pictures and stuff like that. So it's really well be put across really well.
Before we go to rapid fire, I want to hear, what are you most excited for? Like, what's the part that you're looking most forward to from this show?
I think my favorite number in the show is definitely Gumby Cat. I really enjoy Gumby Cat. I'm one of the tapping Beatles, so I think that's definitely almost like the dance break that I'm most excited for within the show.
Okay.
I'm just really excited about seeing it all come together, because obviously Marc and I have been working a little bit independently on the set and the costume, and yes, we've been speaking to each other, but actually the physical fabrication of our Jellicle world is one that I haven't visually seen yet. So we've got this great big moon. He's talked about an engine house. Do you know what an engine house is?
I do not.
No. So it's like from the old mining industry, there were like these buildings with like a big chimney on them, and they're often situated just right on the headlands of the coast. And so he's been talking about having an engine house highlighted by the moon. He's also got scent coming through the auditorium, sea scent that he's ordered, which I'm really excited about.
I was going to revert to just bringing loads of seaweed in containers underneath the seating, but I think there's health and safety restrictions around that. I think.
So this whole.
Sorry, go ahead, Kirsten.
Sorry. Yeah, no, just so for me, the whole bringing everything together, bringing all the tribes together and all the costumes from the different tribes, bringing all the elements of Cornwall in, it's just really exciting for me. I'm very excited. And it's my first costume gig as well. So
exciting. Yeah.
Next.
You go, Matty.
Matty, you go.
Okay. I love Tugger and Gumby Cat. Those two members go into each other, and that's my favorite part of the show. Fully.
Okay. It's very Bombalonzo of you too.
Absolutely.
What can I say?
Absolutely.
Very me.
I think for me, it's more of a sort of a casting my memory back. I'm waiting. I'm excited to see the audience coming in and into this experience I'm trying to create with the set. And Kirsten alluded that I want it to feel as if they're walking into a broken down old working industrial harbour. So there's going to be low fog, there's going to be scent machines that are bringing in sort of that aspect when you go to the beach or you go to something and you can smell the ocean, you can smell the seaweed and the fish and bring that aesthetic in. And walking into the guys that have had that experience previously, you touched briefly on it, going into that theatre and going, okay, this isn't just a black box stood up and on this beautiful cross arch. I want the audience to feel this aesthetic and this odd vibe that they're walking into a situation, not just to come and watch a show for the next hour and 15 minutes. Because I want them to experience it with us, and hopefully with the pre-show, the cats and the guys can get involved and bring that across as well. So I'm excited to see the audience's reactions to it.
You need to set up something to where you can watch when they walk in, because I think that's like such a fun part of having the junkyard is that it's one of the few shows where you walk in and you're in the show before it starts. Yeah. It's like it's really you're immersed in a different way, and it sounds like you have that with the scent and all this other stuff coming as well, which is fun when you can get to look around and not just read a playbill type of thing. You have the ability to really get your mind into that space.
We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back for more of The Wrong Cat Died.
Okay, let's do some rapid fire. So each one, I want you to answer this. You're answering this as yourself, not your character, not your role, just as you. So if you could go on for one night, any cat, doesn't matter. If you could do it, sing it, male, female, whatever, who do you want to perform as?
Oh my God, Tugger.
Wow. Straight in, Masty. I love it. Straight in.
Quick.
I'm dreamy.
I think for me, I'd either Rumpelteazer or Mr. Mistopheles. I think would be really fun to play.
I'm a big Skimbleshanks fan, so I think that just the upbeat nature of that song, I just could sing it all day long.
For me, for my character and who I'd be is definitely Mungo Jerry. It's that sort of cheeky, messing around, never fully concentrating, but actually always aware, and just trying to get other people to play along with me. Yeah, that'd be good, Mungo.
Okay, favorite and least favorite cat. So who's the one that you want to hang out with, and which one would bug you to hang out with?
Is it biased to say Bombalonzo as my favorite cat? I'd want to hang out with her. She seems like a great time.
Okay.
Least favorite. I'm a Grisabella hater. I'll say it. I'm a Grisabella.
Okay.
I think my cat that I would choose to be best friends with, I think also maybe Bombalonzo, or if not, Tugger. They just both seem like a fun time, to be honest. And the cat that I wouldn't choose, probably someone like the Corica and Tantamile, maybe. I think I'd be a bit weirded out by them.
Yeah, they're a lot. Yeah, for sure.
I guess I'd like to hang out with Bombalonzo as well.
Yeah.
Or Tugger, either of them. I like a good time too. But least favourite, maybe. I'm scared of McCavity. I'm not really kind of keen to spend much time with a guy that kind of wrecks ships and causes people to drown. He's as bad as Davy Jones, isn't he?
So who'd I like to hang out with?
Yeah,
for me, I think I've got a lot of respect for Gus. I think I could sit and chat with Gus for quite a long time. So Gus hanging out with, definitely. Who would not want to be? These guys, I'm not sure if the guys will know this, but I'm not a Buster for Jones fan. It isn't in our version because it's a condensed version, and Buster for Jones is one character that's been taken away from the full version. So, but yeah, I'm not a Buster for fan.
That's actually a very common answer, which is kind of crazy that because Buster Jones is not in the condensed version. And a lot of times it's also the Gus character performing both. Thankfully, the Jellicle Ball version is made kind of given Buster for a little bit of a renaissance because Nora performs it in a very unique way and it's a very different story arc in a way. And they get their moment too in the categories. But okay, favorite song in the show?
It's got to be the Rum Tum Tugger, hasn't it?
I was going to say the same.
I think it's really it's just really upbeat and fun. Either that or I do see Skimbleshanks as quite a good song as well. So,
and I also like because of all the harmonies and everything in Jellicle songs for Jellicle cats. I really like that for the big sound that it makes.
Yeah, and I again, am I out too? I like For me, it's Jellicle songs for Jellicle cats, and the guys are doing fantastically because we have split the 6-part harmony on that. So yeah, the guys are working really well on that. But also for me, just for the fun and audacity of it and the technical aspects of Skimbleshanks, for me is going to be fun. Creating
Skimbleshanks is
a train on stage is always interesting to get head around.
Well, I was going to say, are you doing a boat or are you doing a train?
We can do spoilers, can't we? So what we have planned is there's a derelict boat on stage, as in just like an 8-foot sort of dinghy type thing, and that will become the basis. It's going to be flipped over and it's on a truck, and the kids can move it around. And we're building. Cool. We're building the boat from wrecked aspects from maritime. So we've got boat oars, we've got life buoys, and we've got massive sort of oil tankers that I've cut down and made for the wheels and stuff. So yeah, it's going to be quite fun and quite interesting to see how the kids are going to cope with this in the next couple of weeks as we're rehearsing.
Yeah. Okay. I always ask one fun one, and since I know you have to add some character names when you have more characters than there are in there. So if you were adding your own cat character name, who would you name your cat, or how would you name your cat?
I think I'd give my cat some kind of maybe floral name. I can't think of something on the spot, but something kind of floral. Not that I'd name myself Daisy because that's boring, but something a bit mystically floral, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
I don't even know. I think I'd just name myself nerdy. I think I'd do a pun. I can't think of a pun though. I don't know.
You gotta have something with a meow. You gotta put something into the meow.
Yeah. Something really dumb. You laugh every time you hear it because you're who's named their cat that? That's bad.
Okay.
I'd probably go for something like Morvana or Sonara, one of these kind of mermaidy type Cornish kind of names, and be kind of a mermaidy cat or a sea princessy cat, something like that.
I see. I love the naming your pets as human names thing. So it'd be something like Bob. Or just something random, Dave. My cat called Dave, or something random. So yeah, it would be something like that for me. Or something ginger based, and outwardly with the beard and my colouring, definitely ginger based. Ginger Bob. Let's go, Ginger Bob.
Ginger Bob.
I think there was a bestseller about someone called a ginger cat called Bob.
There was a cat called Bob.
The only ginger cat, I always think of Oliver, because I did an Oliver growing up. That was a red-haired cat and everything too, named after the musical too, which is what's kind of funny for it. But okay, most important question. I have argued in this podcast at length that I don't think Grisabella is the right Jellicle choice. I want to hear who is your Jellicle choice and why, and then I'm going to spend at least a minute or two trying to convince you to take one of your nights and not send Grisabella up to the Heaviside Layer in your production. But first, tell me who your Jellicle choice is and why.
I've been thinking about this for so long. I think they should have sent McCavity to the Heaviside Lair. And I think that because Macavity is like the most evil person in the world, like he disguises himself as old Deuteronomy, I think, so that he can almost like grant himself the ascension, because like he knows that he's just going to get worse and worse and worse until he ends the world. And so, but I just think, I think
get him out of there.
So in the heavy side there, all goodness is injected into him so that he comes back as a good cat. Is that right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm going to say a hot take. I think it should have been Demeter. Demeter's got some issues. She's got some PTSD going on, and I think she needs another shot, like ASAP.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point, actually, because it's the transition. Well, on your take of whatever the Hebridefied layer is, it's the transition. It's that development into new life, and I think Demeter's a good shout. But for me, it's Gus. I've got to give Gus the heads up. To be fair, he's experienced in the world. Well,
I didn't expect this.
See, I'm Team Gus. Yeah. What is stopping you, besides maybe never being allowed to do an Andrew Lloyd Webber show in the future at your theater, from just sending Gus one night?
Could we send him as well?
Together.
2 for 1 offer.
So here's my actual an actual question though about it, because to me, and maybe this is an interpretation, and maybe there's some character aspects to this that you have to adjust. But a big part of why I made the joke originally was because the Grizabellas I saw were not old. Like they weren't that old of performers, and so like they're playing, like they're brilliant performers I saw at Broadway first, and like these people are like putting the true emotion into it. But I'm looking at them going like, all right, like they got some life left. Like they can spend a year with their family being reaccepted. And so, whereas Gus looks like they're about to die, like Gus doesn't look like they're going to make it a year. So that's always been my argument, is send Gus in that moment. When you're doing a young adult version, you have a teenager playing Grizabella. So is there any like part of how you have to like almost coach to or like direct to that this doesn't look like that this kid is not going to be at the end of their life, but needs to showcase that they're ready for this like transitional period because of the hardships in their life? So how are you approaching that?
I think that's, you've kind of hit the nail on the head a little bit, for want of a better expression. I think from my perspective from directing, it's that journey that Grisabella's taken to have that fall from grace, which is what I talked about a little bit earlier, that actually she has gone through that hardship and she had then been accepted back into the tribe for that choice to be made. I'm not saying I agree with Grisabella being the choice, but actually for what we've tried to create is Grisabella has had that difficult journey that she's then risen from effectively. And to go to the Heavenside layer, for a cat to have another life, it's about taking things forward and making that next step a positive change, and that's tried to be what I brought through the storyline of Grisabella tracking this is actually she is at that transitional stage. But again, I'm not saying I agree or disagree. It's how it's been written, but we may be.
Wow. The best part about being a director is you have the ability to change this.
I'm not sure the licensing would agree.
So just throwing that out there. I'm just throwing that out there. That there's an opportunity ahead of you right now to make this a reality. And you can film it and you'll have the biggest supporter. You'll have if it's your theater, I think a nonprofit, you'll have a donation coming your way from the podcast.
From our tech and our draft, because we're going into our sort of final phase of intensive rehearsal into show week. So let's say we can probably film one of those for the tech or draft and send Gus instead.
Oh, okay.
Does that work?
Okay. You know what? At this point, I'll take it. It's the closest I've gotten anybody to doing it. I did have a director that has taken some liberties in the past with some changes and got a hand slap. So they definitely don't do that anymore. But I was close to getting them to do that before, which was like the furthest I've been down that path of getting somebody to do it. I think the only way it's going to happen is if I can fund and like somehow get the Andrew Lloyd Webber group to let me do a reimagined.
Yeah.
Because I want an audience vote, honestly, is my dream. Is I want the audience to vote on it at the end, which I think would be so fun in, like in all these different tours and productions where you're in different cities and different people in the cast. I think that.
You could literally have those sort of devices and add a tally that runs through the show. Who could be what? I mean, we're talking mega sort of tech spend now, but actually, what we're doing is voting as we go through the show.
Not at all. I have this all thought out. You can QR code it at the beginning, and you can have it up through. You can have it as a live app. That would take you, especially in the AI world, it would take you 20 minutes to code that whole thing together. And you could have a running tally there in the back, and you don't need anything but a person to have their phone, which they all have with them anyways. So this is very doable. I've thought a lot about this.
We could tell. We could definitely tell.
And I also know as a director, here's how you finish it. It's because unless Old Deuteronomy gets picked, then anybody else, whoever you send up, Grisabella just goes into their spot, and then you sing the Addressing of Cats. So you like, even from that standpoint, it's not that hard unless Old Deuteronomy wins. If that happens, then you have to figure out how the Addressing of Cats is sung, at least partially from Old Deuteronomy, maybe in the sky. But it could be like a Voice of God type of song if that is the winner. So this is all very doable. All very, very doable.
I actually do think that Grisabella should have had her chance in the tribe though. Like she instantly died. Like
1 year.
Literally.
She can go next year.
Exactly. I feel like she should have her chance to be accepted. They didn't even accept her. They just sent her away.
That's truly my biggest piece of it is like, it's not, and we were posting, there's like a lot of Grisabellas will sometimes argue against it, and I'm like, my argument's not against your redemption story at all. It's the opposite. I think you deserve more, and that you should be reaccepted and have your time with your family. So I'm glad that you all agree. I like that I've got some different answers, and if I'll take a tech or dress version of this, sending up Gus,
we'll send you some social media shot.
Again, send me some footage. I will blast it out to the world. Happy to. So, speaking of social, how can people stay in touch with you all, the theater, all the different things? Because I know you'll do more than just cats too.
We're quite active on Instagram and Facebook, Boom Theatre. And basically we've got a website as well, boomtheatre.uk, no co in there. And we've got Wonderland coming up in October, which is an amazing Frank Wildhorn epic musical. So we've got that running a little bit concurrently at the moment, but we're kind of full on Cats now until the 16th of August. But yeah, that's how to keep in, and do follow us on social media, because we've got this little competition now between now and the performances where all the kids have to do loads of social media. So I'm really hoping they're going to deliver on that. Matty, Faith.
Hold on. Faith got us on this podcast. That's it. Faith pulled through this month.
Thank you all for joining and coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it. This has been so fun. And
thank you.
This will be after, so I don't know if you're archival footaging it, if there's any ways people can see. If not, go back, because I've already seen you've done a bunch of really cool, even rehearsal stuff on your social media. So there's a lot of content for if you see this and hear this later and you want to learn about the Cornish twist version of your show, you'll have a lot of that out there. So keep posting that stuff and we'll share it.
Thank you.
So thank you all for coming on.
Thank you.
And thanks everyone else for listening to this episode of The Wrong Cat Died, the podcast breakdown of the catastrophe. To follow along, you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or podcast. Follow us on social media at The Wrong Cat Died, or check out our website, thewrongcatdied.com.